In this video, we're going to take a look at the SteelSeries Apex 7, the TKL version. Of course, it works with PC, Mac, and Xbox One and PS4 as well. It has the linear switches, the red linear switches, which is my preferred switching mechanism, because linear switches doesn't make as much noise as those clicky ones. But yeah, you can see here on the side some specifications. And of course, this is the Nordic layout, because I live in the northern part of the world, in Scandinavia. Aluminium, aircraft grade aluminium. And it is a very nice keyboard. I have the Apex Pro as well. Already made a video about that. Of course, you can go to my channel and check that one out. And this is the smaller variant, but of course doesn't have the omnipunch switches, but else it has pretty much the same build quality. And of course that fancy lighting, some of the best looking lights I've seen on the keyboard. Not only does the letter light up very nicely, but also have a lot of spill light and actually looks better in real life than it does on the pictures. But yeah, let's just unbox this and have a closer look at what you actually get in the box. Of course, you see the keyboard here, for glory, which I guess is the SteelSeries slogan. But just remove the keyboard from its package and have a look at its actual content. Of course, you get a little quick start instruction, or a product information guide, as they call it, which just, of course, gives you the information about the product and what different kinds of keys and what kind of macros and such you can use. And of course, you have software you can install as well on both PC and Mac to be able to set this keyboard up, but you can also just use the little OLED screen and set it up that way. Don't really need the software, but it's a nice thing. And of course, you get a wrist rest as well, which is something I definitely use daily, or use mainly, and I've become so used to with my other keyboard. So yeah, it's a mandatory thing for me that it has some kind of wrist rest. Excuse me, SteelSeries logo here, and it is a soft touch, rubberish finish, but it's not really soft, so it doesn't have a pillow softness. It's just a thin layer of rubber on there, and it is very comfortable and very nice to actually rest your hands on when you're typing. So I really like it. Has some great ergonomics and actually makes me type a little faster. So yeah, definitely a great wrist rest. And let's just get to the main character of this video. Of course, the keyboard itself feels excellent right out of the box here. But let's just remove this packaging and let's have a little closer look at the keyboard. And yeah, here you have it, the 10 keyless version of the Apex 7, and it looks exactly the same as the Apex Pro as well. And just have a look at listen to those keys. I think they not only sound amazing, but they feel amazing, very smooth. There's not really any resistance that you can feel in these keys, and like I said, it has these red linear switches. I believe you can get these with the tactical switch as well, but it was the only one that's really available, and I really like linear switches. So yeah, it made sense to buy this one. It was also on sale, so it was very cheap. So yeah, great switches, and I like the keycaps. They feel very nice. And the little OLED screen up here, you can program it to whatever kind of image you want, but you can actually also navigate the system. And of course, you have the volume rocker there and a little back forward play pause button as well, which you also use to navigate the OLED screen. But yeah, there's a little protective plastic. Let's just remove that, and you can see a very glossy screen, but it looks actually pretty nice when you have it turned on. And you also have a USB pass-through, so this is USB 2.0, and a little SteelSeries logo next to that. Bottom side here is nothing really interesting. You have a channel way here where you can route the cable either in the center or to the left or to the right. The feet here, when they are folded down, is actually rubberized, so those are the top rubber feet. And if you flip them open like this, of course you can have the keyboard at a little angle, and yeah, feels like high quality. And that's really what I can say about SteelSeries products. It really feels like high quality. Of course, a little SteelSeries branding there, and that aluminium top plate on top, of course, plastic on the bottom, but it feels very rugged. The wrist rest here is magnetically held in place, so you can see if you get it close to the keyboard, it will snap in place, and it will actually stay on there pretty toughly. So you have to pull it pretty hard to actually remove it from the keyboard. But yeah, it does give a little better ergonomic, in my opinion, when typing when you're using a wrist rest. But of course, it's totally up to you if you want to use that. And you go get the USB cable here, which is very thick and stiff. One negative thing I have to say about this keyboard, but you have two USB Type A in the one end here, and one of them is the pass-through, and one of them with the keyboard label there is for the keyboard. You only need one of them connected if you want to connect to the keyboard. But yeah, thick and not really all that flexible cable. So that's really the only really negative thing I have to say about SteelSeries keyboard. But yeah, let's just have a look at the software on my Mac computer, which is the computer I'm going to use this keyboard on. Of course, first thing first, go to their website, SteelSeries.com. Up in the top right corner there, you'll find a little download link, and just go and click on that, and you'll get straight to the Engine 3 software, which, like I said, works on both Mac and Windows. Definitely get the latest Engine 3. Don't get the Engine 2 software. It is fairly old, and then you just, of course, download it to your system. I already have it installed, so I won't really bore you with the install process, but let's just have a look at the software. SteelSeries Engine software, of course, you can control all your SteelSeries hardware that can be used with the SteelSeries software, like the keyboard, mouse, and the headphones as well. And this is the software, pretty simple actually. You can go in and set key bindings, and of course set the lighting exactly the way you want it. You can set per key illumination, so you can have each individual keys have a different illumination. Of course, you have different kinds of effects, where the color will go from one side to the other side, and you can set a lot of different color schemes up and such. You also have that little OLED screen like I talked about. I just put a little macOS logo in there just to let me know that I'm on the macOS. The memory there on the side, you have, is it 5 or 6 onboard memories? I'm really just use the one for my computer here. But yeah, it's a nice little gimmick, the little OLED screen. And I wouldn't really say that it's something I definitely have to use. You also have some apps here, like the Prism Sync, where you can actually set it up to sync with all of your devices. But one great thing about this is that you can make your keyboard turn off all this lighting, and your mouse as well. When the screen is turned off, you just enable it on the right side here. So you can see I've set my mouse and keyboard up to actually sleep when the display is turned off, and of course I have the color synced to my liking between the keyboard and mouse. But if you have a headset and of course mouse pad and such, you can also sync them together in this little piece of software, which is included in the Engine 3. There's also a lot of other apps, most of them for gaming or for games, where you can see different kind of statistics on your little OLED screen and such. But yeah, Mac OS is not really known for being a great gaming device, so definitely not something I'm going to use. I'm just going to use it as a standard keyboard. Would wish though that SteelSeries would have included a Mac key layout or just Mac key caps that you can switch out with the Windows one, but yeah, that's unfortunate. They don't do things like that when it's enabled or when it supports Mac OS. One downside with this keyboard, you can see the nice lighting here, is dust and small debris and such will be much more noticeable because all that spill light will actually light up your keyboard. Not really something that bothers me. I'm not really the type of guy that cleans my keyboard regularly, but you can see small dust particles are much easier to see because of that light. But all in all, I highly recommend this keyboard. Definitely get one for yourself, especially if they are on sale. I can share some link down in the description if you want to check them out. I highly recommend them, and I use them every day, and I really like them. But that's pretty much it for this video. Hope to see you again in a future one. Take care.